Have you been wondering how you can create an abundant mindset, how to live a life of abundance? Well, today here with DG Mindset, we're going to break down the patented, the trademarked abundance acceleration formula. Now, when you start to understand that abundance is not necessarily what you accumulate in this physical world, it has more to do with a mindset, and your mindset is what is determining your physical world, you'll start to see that there is a formula for you to create an abundant mindset. So here at DG Mindset, we've developed the abundance acceleration formula for you to increase the speed of you moving into this mindset, for you to create material and physical abundance, but not just material and physically, also mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So let's break it down. First, we have to understand something, okay? The law of correspondence. The law of correspondence says, as above, so below. Whatever's happening on one plane, it's happening on the plane below. So when we start to understand the three planes of existence, the three planes of awareness that we're living on, the spiritual plane, the mental plane, the physical plane. Spirit, mind, body. Whatever I am on one plane, it will be on the plane below. So James Allen, the famed author, said, as a man thinketh, he do. As you think, so your life will be. Your life is a mirror of what's going on the mental plane. Why? Because of the law of correspondence. So let's understand now how the law of correspondence plays into the abundance acceleration formula. So if I understand the law of correspondence, I'll understand that whatever's happening on the physical plane, it's also going to have to be the same thing on the mental plane. So on the physical plane, we have something that we call gravity. Gravity has a formula. If we look at what Isaac Newton had came up with, gravity was the force. It equaled the gravitational constant times the mass of one object times the mass of another object divided by the resistance or the distance. So we can look at, we'll use the analogy of having a magnet and a metal sphere. So if I have a metal ball and then I have a magnet, the gravitational pull, or how I'm able to pull that in, will be determined by M1. M1 is the magnet. M2 is the metal ball. So when we start to understand however far away they are, it's going to weaken the force of the gravitational pull of the magnet. So when we look at R squared is essentially the distance or the resistance between the two. So if something's really close, it's going to have a stronger gravitational pull. If something's further away, the gravitational pull is going to be weaker. If I put an object in between the two, say a cardboard box, it's going to weaken the gravitational pull of M1 to M2. So that's happening on the physical plane. We can look at planets. It's the same way. In our solar system, our sun is the most dense object. So therefore, it creates a gravitational well, and everything in our solar system gets caught up in this gravity well. Now, if you look at planets or celestial bodies that are further away from the sun, those take longer in their orbit around the sun because there's a weaker force of the gravitational pull. Whereas us, our inner planets, Earth, Mercury, Venus, Mars, we have a quicker orbit around the sun because we're closer to the actual M1, which would be the sun. So if the sun is M1, Earth is M2, and then the distance in between there is what we call R squared. So this is happening on the physical plane. The same would have to take place as well on the spiritual plane or the energetic plane. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So if we take this same formula and we apply it to our everyday lives, we'll start to see that there is a force. There is a force that science has not yet quantified, yet all of us experience it. It's this little thing that we call love. When you start to understand that love is the energetic force of gravity, what we experience on the physical plane is gravity. Spiritually, emotionally, love is the same thing. Think about it. When you love somebody, doesn't matter if they're on the other side of the world, there will be a gravitational pull and you will be attracted to them. So gravity creates attraction. Love creates attraction. Think about it. When you love somebody, what you will do, you'll go to the ends of the earth for that person. So if we start to understand now using the same formula as gravity, now our universal constant, just like gravity has a universal constant, it's trust. Trusting, surrendering. You sometimes will say trust the process. When you trust the process, when you have trust, when you have faith, when you surrender to the outcome, this is the universal constant times the energetic mass of object number one. That is you, your energy. So let's think about it like this. E1 is your energetic mass. This is your belief. This is your emotional alignment. This is your clarity on whatever your goal was. Whatever it was you were looking to create in your life, your energy, E1, is what is creating the gravity well towards E2. E2 is your desired objective, your goal, where it is you want to go. What is it? Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's a relationship, whatever it is. This carries its own energetic signature as well. So I want you to sit here and think about, what is your E2? Is it a monetary amount? Is it a new opportunity? Is it a relationship? Okay, now the next question is, what would you feel like if this was true? Go ahead and write that down. So maybe I would feel free. Maybe I would feel at peace. Maybe I would feel relief. Whatever it is, that is the energetic signature of E squared. So now, we know what our E1 is, we know what our energy is, and you can reference Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, where we have enlightenment at the highest and shame at the lowest. And this scale determines the vibration or the energy of the human emotions. So when I'm in a lower emotional state and I'm living in fear, I'm living in anger, I'm living in guilt, I'm living in shame, these carry a lower energy. And if your goal is you would experience freedom and peace, that's a completely opposite energy of what you actually are. So now by doing that, you've actually just created large resistance or big distance.
What's going on, everybody? This is DG from DG Mindset. If any of these videos has resonated with you, we have more within the DG Mindset community. It's a community surrounded by like-minded individuals to help you along your journey. Go to dgmindset.com, or you can download the DG Mindset app, available in your app store now, and we'll see you there.
So let's recap here. E1 is your energetic signature. E2 is the energetic signature of the thing that you desire, and D squared is the distance in between. Now, what is the distance? These are your limiting beliefs. This is the doubt. These are your fears. These are all the things that kept you from being at the same energy as the thing that you desired. So if we break this down, E1 equals your energy. E2 equals the energy of the desired object. And then D squared equals your fears, insecurities, doubts. So if I have big fears, or I have big insecurities, or maybe there's not really much belief that I can create this in my life, or I can do this, all you're going to do is create, say there's E1 and E2 is over here. The distance in between that is what we call D squared. So if I have big fears, it creates a weaker pull. Remember when we were talking about the gravitational force of gravity? We were talking about how the magnet couldn't pull the metal sphere towards it. It had a weaker pull if there was large distance. The same goes for you. If you have big fears, big insecurities, this is what's creating the gap between you and the thing that you're looking to become. So here's what we have to understand with E2. E2 carries its own energetic signature, and the reason why it's important to know what that is because this will be the same energy that you will be at, E1, if you were to create this in your life. So I wanted to play professional basketball one day when I was a kid. E1 was me, E2 was playing basketball for a living. So here's what I had to do. I had to figure out what would it feel like, and I would sit in my room and I would visualize. More importantly, I would emotionalize what it would be like. And by doing that, I start to create the same energetic signature, the same emotions as the version of me that has already obtained it. And here's the beauty of it. Once you start to feel like it, you will start to act like it. You'll start to take actions. You'll start to do little subtle things that are in alignment with where it was that you wanted to go. This is how we brought it into physical reality. So now, if I'm being it, I'm also it already. So now E1 and E2 are resonating at the same frequency. And the D squared, the fears, the insecurities, the doubts, they've just been minimized exponentially. So this is why it's squared. So what is my point? We have to regulate our emotions. We have to have clarity on what it is that we are looking to bring into our life, but more importantly, what it would feel like if we brought it into our life. And then really, at the end of the day, it's about reducing distance. So this is why I wrote the book, The 7 Laws of Healing the Inner Child, because these are the 7 steps that a human being takes to reduce the distance. Every time you go back and heal your inner child, you're going to get rid of your fears. You're going to get rid of your insecurities. You're going to get rid of the doubt, the distorted self-concepts that kept you from believing that E1 could be E2. And when you do that, you reduce the distance. And when you reduce the distance, you increase the gravitational well. You increase the pull to bring this into your life. So let's have a recap here. The abundance acceleration formula is taking the formula of gravity and then applying it energetically to your life. So E1 is you regulating your energy. Emotionally, you create stability in your life. You're not up and down and allowing external factors determine what your energy is. E2, this is the energy of the desired object, the thing, the outcome that you wanted. Ask yourself, what would this feel like if I were to accomplish that? This will create the E2 signature. And then D squared. These are your fears, your insecurities. This is the distance in between you and that goal. So if you have a big goal and it feels like I don't know, it's hard for me to even conceive it. That means your goal is big, not in the sense of the magnitude of your goal. It's the bigness is the gap in between you and the goal. So this is where we spend our energy in healing or fixing the distorted self-concepts from the past that didn't believe it was worthy or possible of creating whatever E2 was. So in 2025 and beyond, spend your energy on reducing the distance. And when you reduce the distance, you'll start to see that E squared will get closer. And then once it gets close enough, the universal constant comes into play. And that universal constant was trust and belief. Once this comes into play, it's done. You will create this in your life. So this is the abundance acceleration formula. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments what resonated with you the most. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit share. Make sure you hit that little bell at the top so you know when we drop something new, you'll get alerted. Thanks for hanging out. I hope this helps you in your life to create an abundant mindset and an abundant life moving forward. And I'll see you next time.